Now, I want to frame the big picture of what we're doing here with the globe. We can see on a Google Maps, I don't know if your lives were as changed as my life was when Google started doing their maps and their Google Earth. I think I've lost countless hours looking at views, satellite views, and just exploring the world. And I want to frame our initiative at Clemson through these satellite views. This is actually a map that I've created over the years to show people what we do in environmental engineering specifically. So a lot of the pinpoints on this map, Dr. Caraway has just joined us. He's a professor at Clemson as well. A lot of the pinpoints on this map are to show things specific to environmental engineering, but several of them are specific to industrial manufacturing, and we can see the interplay between those things. And so I wanted to discuss a few of what we can see here. Let's zoom in first to, let's go to Atlanta. This is a cool facility, and I want to change the way you drive to Atlanta. I assume we all drive to Atlanta at some point in our life. And as you're approaching Atlanta, you come to the Mall of America. There's a sign for the Mall of America. And that's interesting, I guess. There's the I-985, 85 split. Or the Mall, did I say Mall of Atlanta? Mall of Georgia, right? Is that what they call it? I don't know. I'm always more interested in this facility, which is a wastewater treatment plant. And you're like, oh, wastewater treatment plant. Yeah, that's what environmental engineers think about, is wastewater and things. But something really cool is happening here. I want you, next time you go to Atlanta and you notice that sign, start looking to the right. And you're going to see mostly trees, but there's a clearing. And if you look up this clearing in the trees, you can catch a peek of these. And it's a little choppy right now, so we'll see if Google's, oh yeah, it's coming in a little better. These are anaerobic digesters, these egg-shaped tanks. And anaerobic digesters are really emblematic of our big picture goal, because what we're doing here is we're taking wastewater and turning it into energy. Inside these anaerobic digesters is where we take essentially poop, the stuff that we flush down the toilet, and methanogenic microbes, along with a consortium of other bacteria, convert that organic matter into methane. And methane, of course, is the key ingredient of natural gas that we pay for in many cases to heat our homes and do other industrial processes. So we're taking waste and turning it into energy. Now, people had this idea many years ago. We continue to have this idea, but there's very few treatment plants around the nation that do this all the way like they do in Atlanta, mainly because of scale, size. So we are working on developing this technology to make it work better. And that's just one example. Someone had an idea of something they could maybe do to be more sustainable. And that is economically sustainable because you're creating a resource that you can sell back to the utility. It's socially sustainable because I think we can all get behind the idea of converting our waste to fuel, but also we are treating the wastewater and preventing harm to the communities that live around Atlanta. And it's environmentally sustainable, well, for that same reason. We're preventing environmental problems as well. And these three pillars of sustainability are what are always on our mind at Clemson: social, economic, and environmental sustainability. And we can see them happening. Now, if we go to, I want to, let's see, there were a few different facilities that I thought would be worth looking at. I'm going to go to Glen Raven. We don't have a presentation from Glen Raven today, but Kelsey joined us. And Glen Raven is interesting. Okay, here we are. Glen Raven is in Anderson, South Carolina. It's these two big roofs next to each other. And let's see, this facility doesn't have a solar field yet, Kelsey?
It does. My attachment's been updated yet. We have a 1 megawatt solar
Okay, great. And where is it? Sort of behind the facility here?
Yeah, where that block of trees were, so that's our retention pond, so.
Retention pond?
Those trees were contaminated with the Asian beetle, and so we had to remove them anyway.
Okay.
We went ahead and put in a 5-acre solar.
So you have a solar farm here. Now this Glen Raven facility is amazing. You go in and there's all this weaving happening, and they're taking it from all the steps, creating the yarn and doing the weaving and whatnot. But Glen Raven is taking it a step further. They're saying, yes, we're producing a quality product, and the Sunbrella is the brand, right? And a lot of us may have yard furniture that's Sunbrella, and creating a quality product, but then they're trying to do things more sustainably by putting the solar panels in. They're also looking at a rainwater collection system, and our capstone design team this semester is working on a rainwater collection system for Glen Raven. And this is interesting because Glen Raven, that facility, is just down the road from another place that's near and dear to my heart, which is this. This is Mount Lebanon Elementary School, where my children go to school. Just down the road from Glen Raven. You know, when we think about social sustainability, knowing what Glen Raven is doing, makes me more comfortable to have my children at the school. Nutra manufacturing is also very close by. And we've been in touch with Nutra too, and we know the practices that they're putting in to make things environmentally friendly. And you know, one funny thing is, we talk about the Industrial Revolution and manufacturing, and then a lot of that was sent offshore because of essentially the externalities and the costs of manufacturing locally. But a lot of that manufacturing is coming back, and why? Well, part of the reason that it's coming back is because we are okay with it as a society. And why are we okay with manufacturing all of a sudden? Why does manufacturing now have a better reputation than it did in several decades ago? Because we don't release the air pollutants that used to be released from big steel mills, or not nearly to the quantity that used to be released. We don't have textile mills releasing blue water one day and red water the next day and pink water the next day because that's the dye that they're using. We have places like Milliken that are doing things to protect the water. And so suddenly it's okay to live near these manufacturing facilities. Not suddenly, over decades, it has now been okay to live in those areas and work in those areas. And we are approaching sustainability. For all the bad news that's out there, there's a lot of good news too. Now, there's more that we can do. There's a lot of good ideas out there, and we at Clemson see ourselves being a catalyst, or at least a connecting point, a hub or a node to try to bring people together. We know facilities talk to each other to some degree, but if we're going to come up with a good idea like anaerobic technology to create methane, if we're going to come up with interesting ways to take a waste stream from one facility and use it as a resource stream in another, then it's going to take a lot of idea generation. You know, we do these assessments and we go to facilities and we come up with recommendations. But we sit around and we come up with lots of ideas. And it'll be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ideas that get proposed before one really makes it into the recommendation report. And then for every report every recommendation that we put in a report, it takes 5 or 6 of those before anyone actually implements it. So my point is, we need to keep idea generation going. We need to keep talking to each other. We need to learn, what is your waste? Because that could be our resource. What are you doing to reduce energy at your facility? Maybe we can do the same. I think another good example, at BMW, they're using landfill gas as a methane source. Someone had that good idea. Initially, they must have said this is going to cost way too much. But then they figured out the economics and they made it work, and now they're using that landfill gas. So today, we're going to hear a few presentations about what is happening in our area and to generate a catalyst for other good ideas. And then we want you to stay in touch with us as a Clemson program so that we can come and help you out and do some assessments and have this cross-pollination of ideas. That's really what it's all about today.